Today we're going to be looking at local fish shops versus pet shops or pet store, whichever you call it, which is true in Jamaica. Now, in Jamaica, you have several hobbies that are, within the fish keeping hobby. However, to a lesser extent, you have only a few, if any, real facility that takes care of, or should I say, that promotes the sale of fish stock, fish supply that is referred to as exotic. Most of the exotic fish that are shared on my channel are based on small individual businessmen or women seeking to import and sell their exotic fish that they have acquired, whether it be during the week or whatever, and they are looking out for opportunities to get sale. All right, so there are no real dedicated aquarium store in Jamaica. Most Jamaicans go to a pet shop for fish. You see dogs, cat food, bird cage tucked in the back, and a few murky tanks with goldfish and barbs, right guys? Today we are comparing local fish stores, LFS, with general pet shops and uncovering the strange reality of Jamaican market. A store where 90% of the floor space is water, that is a true local fish store. Now, staff aren't just salespersons, they are aquarists. They know about the nitrogen cycle, they know about the different species as to which species can be tanked with which species during the transition period from the shop, or from the shop in which you're going to be purchasing, to advise the individuals coming in for for a fish. Hey, listen, this fish and this fish can be tanked together. In Jamaica, you don't have that. You have you might have one individual that have some idea as to the different types of fish personality and nature of the fish, but as far as an aquarist who has vast knowledge as to the scientific name of the fish, scientific name of the plant, and the dynamics of the aquarium that is needed to have the fish survive and be free of stress, that is limited, if any at all, in existence in Jamaica, right? Livestock such as cichlids, nanofish, healthy live plants, not just plastic ones. These are not really like vividly available, or should I say vividly seen within the pet shops that exist in Jamaica. I can recall, I'm not going to be calling the pet shop's name, I asked the manager a question at one point in time. Sorry. I asked the manager at one point in time what the name of a particular fish that was in the aquarium, in the fish section, and the manager shared to me that I won't say the name of the manager, and I won't say the name of the store. He or she, that's better, wasn't sure, and whenever the person who sold the fish to the store comes by, she will ask for the particulars about the fish. Now, this is just evidence that the whole knowledge that is needed so as to get the hobby on par with other spaces throughout the world is lacking. As far as aquarium fish keeping is concerned, it's a community hub for hobbyists to talk shop, not just a place to buy a pet in a bowl, right? So several persons do go to pet shop having really serious issues, but they find an issue getting real information, so they turn to the internet and they try to find answers to their questions. And a lot of the answers in which they get on the internet is not applicable to them being in Jamaica within a tropical space, because depending on where you are at, the responses might be different. The general pet shop reality in Jamaica is that the diversification ensures that sales do occur and the bills are paid, and persons are able to get paid at the end of the week, right? The sale of dog chow, free shampoo, dog collar, birds, bird feed, dog feed, fish feed, that is at the height of, shall I say, at the top of the agenda for the pet stores in Jamaica. Usually a side hustle, in the sense that it's not really something that is taking up the majority of the space within the pet shop. That is the aquariums. I shared with you the pet shop next to nature, right, guys? About 5-6 years ago, I would say about roughly 30-35% of the space in which it occupied had aquariums. Gradually, the aquariums within the space decreased, the fish pond disappeared, and the majority of the stock rests around plants, fish food, and other decorative elements that you use within the yard, and also things that you use in your garden, right? And such the like feed, bird feed, and all those things, and some other things that you use in the garden, right? So this is it as far as pet shop in Jamaica, right? You don't really have a LFS, a local fish store, right? The fish section is actually dying. Tanks are often on a shared filtration system. You don't have an independent filtration system. Even if this filtration system is shared, there's no uniqueness regarding this. The advice gap is limited. I have walked in pet shop where in which I saw attendance within the pet shop in Jamaica, right? At one of the most popular pet shops that you can think about right now, right? Yes, that one, right? Where in which I've seen fish placed together within the same space, and I know that whenever those fish do go together, you're going to have a few fish dead. However, because of limited space, there's no set alternative to keep the fish in stock, because the space is getting smaller, and the cry of the persons coming in is more like for dog food, for dog medication, for birds, and for other delights as far as having a pet is concerned, which exclude that of fish, having a fish or having an aquarium, right? Often the staff will have limited information regarding fish stock. For example, goldfish. They will say that yes, man, goldfish can be kept in a bowl. Where for those persons who are hobbyists and who are well read on goldfish keeping, you will know that goldfish in a bowl, that is the thing that you should not practice, right? Why they dominate? Now, low overhead and one-stop shop, convenience for the average family, right? It is expensive to get fish in Jamaica that is of the exotic type, and not that not much persons are able to afford the exotic fish that may be available for the pet shop to sell. But my thing is, if you make yourself attractive, and if you make your fish stock more exciting to look at, or persons to come by and look, you will get more persons within the hobby. My observation is that Jamaica has dozens of thriving pet shops. Example, tropical ornamental, gardens pet shop, hobby hut next to nature, super plants, pets and more, and others, right? Elite aquariums only store, etc. Now, the irony is that Jamaica has a massive history of ornamental fish farming. We breed, yes guys, we breed millions of fish for export, guppies, swordtail, mollies, yet we don't have a retail mecca for these fish within Jamaica. Did you know that we actually ship ornamental fish to the United States of America? in which the hobby in the United States of America is much larger, meaning that more persons are in the hobby in the United States of America than in Jamaica. Jamaica, we only talk the talk, but we don't walk the walk, right? The reason, the operational costs, according to anecdotals based on going and interacting with staff. Electricity in Jamaica is expensive. Running 100 pumps and lights 24/7 is like a financial nightmares. You're not getting the returns for having all this equipment up, because you want the fish out, so therefore you try to get cheap fish so they can have a quick turnaround time, right? Import logistics, getting high-ended equipment like Fluval, Ada, E-Tech, etc. Through custom is costly, making retail prices really high, right? There is this tendency right now for what you refer to as pond culture. Now, pond culture, that is, right? Now, many Jamaicans keep fish in outdoor ponds or in fountains, right, which require less specialized equipment than like high-tech indoor aquariums, right? So as a result of that, you find that koi and goldfish and to some extent pleco and larger fish that you may see online within the aquarium space trade hobby throughout the world are mostly kept in ponds. And that is one of the reasons why I opted to keep ponds instead of tanks, primarily because of several factors, but the main factor is the expense to maintain these tanks, right? As far as the gap in the market is concerned, now, as a Jamaican middle class, I believe that the interest in aquascaping and salt reef should be something that is promoted. I believe that once persons do invest in getting the products in for, let's say, a marine aquarium, I believe that persons will be drawn to to this side of the hobby, and you'll find more available stock, equipment, and the necessities to go around. Now, the vision for me is to imagine a store in Kingston or Mobile that offers aquarium maintenance as its primary income, with a showroom that sells the dream. Now, I believe that a dedicated fish store could survive in Jamaica. I believe that if we as hobbyists, put our heads together, we can get a real LFS up and running, and we will end up having more individuals within the fish keeping hobby. Now, to me, pet shops give us the basics, right? They give us feeds, they give us some popular fish, but common fish. But fish stores give us the hobby experience. It tells us a little bit more about the fish, and it gives us the opportunity to be more involved in fish keeping. Now, in closing, right, I believe that if you as a hobbyist in Jamaica wishing to be a part of the hobby and exercise your interest, share your interest with store managers and owners of local fish stores, that listen, we want more from our pet shops other than all that is being offered. I believe that we will be able to at the end be successful in improving the standard, or should I say improving what is available in Jamaica as far as pet shops are concerned. So I believe that pet shops should be separated from local fish stores. And once the pet shops are separated from local fish store, you end up having persons that are more passionate in the hobby. PetSmart and Petco and all these spaces, they are intertwined with different hobby. And so the care that the hobbyists would need so as to ensure that the fish stock is being taken care of properly, the proper advice that is needed. Hey, listen, I have seen a notice recently where which persons are being encouraged to apply for the position of an assistant, customer assistant. In New York, just going to the pet shop, and they are being paid at the what you refer to as the minimum wage. Now, you won't have an aquarist being engaged in this hobby, and not being sufficiently being compensated for his or her time. It's a lot of time and energy. Yes, you might say that persons have no certification or whatever, but experience goes further than just certification. And some persons are so experienced in fish keeping that they themselves can become the individual who certified others so as to become excellent fish keepers. So there are no LFS. There are no LFS in Jamaica. Right? Peace out, guys. Catching up next time. Bye bye.